Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to everyone. So today we are going to take a look at the introduction to ELC151 or Integrated Language Skills, what the course is all about. Okay, you are together with me, Madam Shai, as your class lecturer. Okay, so for ELC151, what are the things that you need to know about the course? Now, let's take a look at the first slide. First, let's take a look at the learning outcome. So there are 3 learning outcomes for this course. The first one is to demonstrate the ability to read and write coherently based on various reading materials at higher intermediate level. Number 2, to demonstrate the ability to verbally express and justify opinions while interacting during social communication at higher intermediate level. So, and then number 3, to demonstrate the ability to listen and to respond to various discourse at higher intermediate level. So at this time around for ELC, you are expected to be able to communicate at a higher intermediate level or at a university level, whereby you are able to talk about, for example, the current issues or anything that is in academic setting. Okay. Alright, now we are going to take a look at the assessments for this course. The first one, you are going to have PRL. What is PRL? I'm going to explain to you after this. We are going to have PRL1 and PRL2, and it's going to be online, and each PRL is 10%. So the first PRL is going to be conducted in week 6, and the second PRL is going to be conducted in week 9. For both PRL, you are given 1 hour to complete. Next, you are going to have your discussion and observation. So this is assessment number 2. This is also known as the speaking test. So speaking test is 20%. So you are given 30 minutes per group for you to present. Okay? And speaking test is going to be conducted in week 11 and week 12. Assessment number 3 is going to be your listening test. Listening test is going to be conducted in week 13. It is 20%, and the time given for you to answer the listening test is 1 hour. And last but not least is your reading test. So reading test is very high, that is 40%, and you are given 2 hours to complete the whole test. And reading test is going to be held in week 14. Okay, so altogether, all of the assessment is 100%. So overall, you are going to have 4 types of assessment. PRL, the first one is PRL. Number 2 is speaking test. Number 3 is listening test, and number 4 is reading test. Okay, so altogether 100%. Next, let's take a look at what is personal reading logs. Personal reading logs is actually a written response of 2 selected short stories. Okay, you are required to write a response, and the length of your writing piece must be between 200 to 250 words. Okay, next, take a look at what are the things that you should write about. First, I'm going to give you short stories. Okay, for PRL1, 1 short story. PRL2, 1 short story. So you have to read the short stories, and later during week 6 and week 9, I'm going to give you questions based on the short stories, and then you have to write the answer to the question, and the length of your answer must be between 200 to 250 words. Okay, so the question is based on the story, but I'm not going to ask you about the summary or the plot of the story. It's more about your understanding towards the story. What can you learn? What are the things that you like about the story? What are the things that you don't like about the story? It is pretty much like literature back in when you were in high school. Alright? And PRL1 is going to be held in week 6, and PRL2 is going to be held in week 9. Okay? And further, as we go on towards the lesson, towards the semester, I'm going to teach you how to answer PRL, and we are going to do practices to prepare you to answer for PRL by week 6. Okay? So next we are going to take a look at the next assessment. So the next assessment is speaking test. So it is a group discussion. There are 4 people in one group, 4 students. So what you can do right now is to plan ahead and look for possible candidates to become your group members. Okay, what are you going to do within the group during your speaking test? You have to respond to the situation given. You have to discuss the issues, you have to express views, and then justify your opinion. Alright? And I will conduct the speaking test via WhatsApp video call or Google Meet or any other preferred online platforms. It depends on your group's preference, because some people have access to WhatsApp video call, some people prefer to use the laptop. So it's up to you. We can discuss that matter later. And worst comes to worst, it has to be done through WhatsApp chat or video, voice note, or video messages via Telegram. But this is the worst case scenario. If the situation or the internet connection is very bad, then there are ways that we can do to make sure that you complete the speaking test. Okay? And the speaking assessment will be conducted in week 11 and week 12. So if we cannot finish within week 11, then we are going to continue until week 12. However, if we manage to finish everything in week 11, then there will be no speaking test in week 12. But bear in mind, you just have to remember that everybody has to take the test, and you need to allow other people some time to take their test as well. And I will give you the schedule for each group to take their tests. Okay? Alright, now let's take a look at some of the sample questions for speaking tests. Now this is the instruction. So based on the instruction, it says here you are given 1 minute to read the stimulus, which means the questions given. And then you are given 2 minutes to prepare your response. So you can prepare. Preparing means that you have to write. You have to write your ideas. You cannot go and Google for the answers. Okay? And overall, as a group, the 4 of you are given 10 minutes for the discussion. So in the discussion, you have to do these things. Present and justify your personal views. Support and oppose the other candidates' views. And decide which of the following suggestions is the best at the end of the discussion. Okay? So you have to decide. So it's kind of, it is called a discussion. And you need to have a decision at the end. Alright. Now, this is a sample situation. Global warming causes danger to our environment that can lead to natural catastrophes such as flood, hurricanes, and drought. It is very important for us to limit the emission of greenhouse gases to keep global warming at bay. Suggest one way to reduce global warming. Okay, so how are you going to do this? So in your group, you have to discuss which of the following is the most effective way to fight global warming. Okay, so there are 4 of you. Okay, so let's call person 1 as candidate A, person 2 as candidate B, person 3 as candidate C, and person 4 as candidate D. Okay, so the first point here, reduce heat and air conditioning, is point for candidate A. Okay, so candidate A, you have to talk about this. This is your suggestion. According to you, the most effective way to fight global warming is by reducing heat and air conditioning. Next, candidate B, this is your point. Candidate B, point number 2, use energy efficient appliances. According to candidate C, the most effective way to fight global warming is number 3, to avoid open burning. And according to candidate D, buy eco-friendly products. So in this situation, you are not allowed to change or to exchange the opinion. For example, you are candidate number 1, you are candidate A, but you like point number 3 better, so you want to talk about that. No. So first, this is given to you, so you have to talk about it. Later, after everybody has finished presenting their ideas, then you can decide the most effective way to fight global warming, and it's not necessarily has to be a point. You can agree with anybody's point, or you can disagree with them as well. Okay, and for these two, I am going to further explain in the lessons, more lessons to come throughout the semester, right? But this is to just to give you a brief idea of what the speaking test is all about. And it's interesting to note that the speaking test, the format of the speaking test will be quite the same as MUET speaking test with the MUET format. So you focus on this part, and then you can take the same format, the same skill that you have learned for speaking in ELC151, and then you can use the same technique and the same skills later when you are going to take your MUET. Okay, right. Okay, moving on to next assessment, assessment number 3, that is your listening test. So for your listening test, you are going to listen, number 1, to news items and announcements. Then you are going to listen to a talk or a speech, and then answer the question. And lastly, you are going to listen to a dialogue or a conversation, and then answer some questions. And all question is a multiple choice question. Some of them you have to type, some of them you have to click the answer, and the listening test will be administered through Google Form in Google Classroom. Okay, for me, I would prefer to do it that way. I'm going to release the audio during the listening test time, and then together with the Google Form for you to fill in the answer. Alright? And again, worst case scenario, if you cannot take the listening test during the given time, then probably we can use Telegram or WhatsApp. Okay, but let's avoid this. Try to avoid this as much as we can. Okay, alright, and the listening test is going to be conducted in week 13. Okay, alright. Okay, now the next test that you are going to have is reading test. So reading test is going to be administered online, just like every other test that you're going to take this semester. Okay, it will be similar to your previous course, ELC121. It's a reading comprehension test of 2 reading passages and 1 non-linear text. Just like last semester, we are going to have probably the same format of tests again this semester. However, the level of reading difficulty is going to be more challenging for ELC151 as compared to ELC121. And the reading test paper will be conducted via, for me, it's Google Classroom and Google Form, but we will try to look at other platform as well. We can discuss on it, because this is only going to be conducted in week 14. Alright? So if you have any problems with internet connectivity, the commitment, trying to commit to the time of the test, all of those things, the challenges that you're going to deal with, you need to let me know so that we can set and discuss for some other time or some other method for you to take the test. The most important thing is for you to take the test. This is very important. So we can discuss actually the most appropriate time, the most appropriate method of platform to be used. Okay. Alright, now let's take a look at the planner for this course. So these are the things, the activities that are going to be held throughout the semester. So currently we are in still week 1. So we are going to have lesson, online lesson, online lesson, online lesson, and then online lesson. And then in week 6, you are going to have your personal reading log number 1. And then another week of lesson. And then you are going to go on for your midterm break. Okay. And then continue on with your online lesson. And then week 9 is personal reading log 2, PRL number 2. And week 11, speaking. Week 12, speaking test. And then week 13 is your listening test. Week 14 is your reading test. Okay. So as you can see, towards the end of the semester, you are going to have a lot of tests. Okay. A lot of them. So manage your time wisely. Manage yourself wisely. Manage all of your sources very, very well. So as you can see, the online lesson, these are the weeks that I'm going to give you lectures on how to answer and how to prepare for your other tests. Okay? Okay. Alright. So for this semester, I am your course instructor. I am the class lecturer. My name is Nur Syaritul Kamal Naksha. You can contact me through my phone number here, or this is my email address. And I'm going to be the lecturer for MBA 1182C and MBA 1182D. Right? So both of these classes, both of you are going to be under my supervision. Okay. So my advice for this semester is that remember that English is actually a skill. It's not like any other subject where you have chapters to be covered. We don't have specific chapters to be covered. We focus on skills, and those are the skills that is going to be tested in this course this semester. Okay, so the skills to be tested are reading, listening, speaking, and also a little bit of writing. Okay, where you have to write your answer to personal reading log of PRL 1 and 2. Alright, so I think so far this is it. If you have anything to ask, you can contact me from that phone number given there, and I will see you again in the next video. Right? Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.